Channel 10.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Channel10podcast.com. That's right, that's the official Channel 10 podcast website. Now there's a store link at the top, so you can click on that link and purchase Channel 10 merchandise like t-shirts and hoodies and all kind of goodies. So make sure you go there, click that, support the podcast, and get your Channel 10 podcast gear. Right now you can get Channel 10 podcast logo gear, but there will be more designs coming soon, so keep it locked to channel10podcast.com. As always, make sure you rate, subscribe, and comment on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Help us grow. We got a lot of big things coming up, so definitely keep it locked to channel10podcast.com. Okay, with that, I'm out. Let's get into the show. Peace.
We used to be like CNN Channel 10, and we used to think that people would catch on. But if you're not from Queens, if you don't got Time Warner or whatever, like, well, I didn't know that.
Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man. It's all good. Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up, yo. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, get in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, get in your face. Stay in place, yo.
Call is now being recorded.
Yo.
Yo.
What up, good people of America and all the people outside of America. This is the Channel 10 podcast with your man, the almighty AR Tick in the building. And I'm alongside
Sin God Superior. Man, we sound tired of shit.
It's because we are tired of shit because we just grinding, getting things done, you know?
Yeah, well, it seems that way.
I mean, by the time people are hearing our lovely, tired voices now, they will have already heard our interview with Egyptian Lover, hip-hop pioneer, West Coast extraordinaire, and they will have also already had the opportunity to buy Channel 10 podcast merchandise from channel10podcast.com.
Yeah, so I guess that's an example of black progress.
Yeah, I mean, get your hoodies up, you know what I'm saying? Get your Channel 10 podcast hoodie. Starting off with the Channel 10 logo, but we do have a couple more things coming down the pipeline. It's getting cold, so get your hoodies, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have some coffee mugs that you can get for your coffee while you go to work, when you commute, while you listen to us talk whatever it is that we talk. And yeah, support the movement, because we definitely moving. People are paying attention. Tell a friend and tell a friend.
Yeah, I'm thinking about if we should kind of address certain people talking about us, but I guess there's no point.
Nah.
Yeah.
Let's not even talk about them. Let's just, it's good to be seen. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, seen and heard.
But shout out to all the podcasters out there doing their thing. It's a big space right now for everybody to come through and do what they do. And, the creative people, the engaging people, the people with something to say will rise to the top. So, we here.
Yeah.
But how have you been, man?
I've been chilling, man, just knocking out historical works and, slinging these groceries. Pretty much all I've been doing, trying to fight, the racist institutions that are still in place.
And
So, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a constant battle doing that, man. Um, it's a fight every day.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy, man. When you're dealing with this in the grocery business, and just like the certain. I mean, it's weird when you're in certain situations and you just know when certain things are just kind of like racial.
Mm.
So that's always an interesting thing to most definitely deal with when you see it, and when you're experiencing this firsthand, and like, do you combat it all the way, or do you just kind of like work your way around it, or do you find like a really slick way to combat it without really it really being noticed?
Mm. I mean, I think my way of combating it is because, like, my beard is just wild and untamed at the moment, and it's like people just stare at me sometimes. And so then, when I'm going to my place of business where I work, my day job, um, I guess I kind of have a hip hop kind of look to me, an urban look, so to speak. So it's like, I might come into work with, a black hat, my black sunglasses, a black jacket, a black tee, some black jeans, and some black shoes with some black headphones around my neck, blasting some black music with a big black beard. And I don't look like the typical person that's going into the building that I work in, who might have white skin with a white shirt with some khakis and some dress shoes and a tie, and we might have to get on the same elevator. So sometimes I can notice people's apprehension and I can feel that energy. So I notice when I open my mouth and I say, good morning, and I might engage them in some light banter, that anxious energy, I can feel it subside, and they start to feel more comfortable and everything like that. And you can kind of see that they feel like, oh, I was wrong about my preconceptions about this guy who's here now. At the end of the day, I'm here for the same reason you're here, and that's because it's a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Like, I had this, I had this one occurrence. Like Sundays are mad interesting because you get a mixture of football people and the church crowd.
Mm.
So there was this one couple. They came in, and they were like the church going type of people, older white couple. I mean, they were nice, but they came in smiling and shit, and so they come to me and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, whatever." And they're like, "Do you ever smile?" And I'm like, I said, "No, not really, not all the time." Like, well, you should smile more. Why don't you smile? And I'm like, well, if you think about the mundane things that we all do in our regular lives, the majority of the time we're probably not smiling. And then so they said, "By gosh, golly, where are you from?" And they really said, she said, "By gosh, golly," for real. So that was an interesting conversation. Start talking about education and the importance of history.
So hold on. So what was their reaction when you said Baltimore?
Another by gosh golly. And what are you doing here? I mean, like, sometimes, like, when someone says, like, hello, how are you doing? And I say, I'm like, one time, this white woman, she said, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm well. And she says, oh, that's correct English. But the thing is, I was kind of like looking back on it, and like, because how people say, oh, I'm doing fine, I'm good, because everyone kind of says I'm good. So technically that's incorrect English. And so maybe that's why she said it, but still, it's like, why would you say something like that? But I mean, I get that. I get that shit all the time. Like, where are you from? Whatever, like that. So, and it could sometimes just like for me, just opening my mouth, or if I just say a certain word that I'm assuming they think I wouldn't know. But I think I've been learning ways to like kind of combat this, this quiet racism that goes on. But like I was telling some people today, I don't really know if it's to my detriment. I mean, I think it probably is to my detriment to a certain extent, but I can't be. I'm getting too old. For real. I mean, you're just dealing with the same shit for years, man. Something has to change.
Nah, I definitely feel you. I'm trying to think of the instance at my last job. I said something to somebody. I can't remember what the word was, but and I may have spoken about this on one of the previous episodes, before episode 20. But I said something to one of my coworkers, and she was like, "Oh, wow, you know what that word means?" And I guess she realized what she said, so she was like, I mean, because, the people who work here, I wouldn't expect most of the people who work here to know what that word means. But it's like she tried to clean it up, so, I at least gave her props for realizing her error and trying to clean it up. Like, because everybody makes mistakes, everybody has prejudices and things like that, so, at least she tried.
I mean, I guess, but I think it comes to a point though when it's like they're just overcompensating for their liberal guilt after a while. That just kind of annoys me too.
Yeah. How would you? I guess it's something I never asked you before. And it's funny because we just talked for like 2 hours before this episode started. But how would you classify yourself politically?
I guess technically I would be a left-leaning independent. I can see both sides a lot of times, but all these institutions are fucked up. So I don't even like to think about political affiliations. But then even nowadays, even saying that you don't have a label is still labeling yourself in some kind of weird way nowadays. So you just can't win.
I mean, I see you as more of a righty.
So a right-leaning independent.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I see you kind of like me, but I guess mine is a bit more extreme. Basically, left-leaning on social issues, but right-leaning on, I guess, more financial and structural type issues.
There are certain things that I think are good, just for the, for society. I think there should be free healthcare. I think that's just like it's a good investment. If you want to have healthy soldiers, you should just have everyone have some good healthcare, and you don't gotta worry about all these crazy weird shots that people probably can't afford, or wisdom teeth, and people dying from crazy shit every 5 minutes.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I don't think that people should have free healthcare, but I think that it would be nice. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that would be great. But I don't think that people should have it. And the reason why is because healthcare comes like somebody's providing a service, and so they should be compensated for their work and effort. So I don't think that it should be free. I don't think that it should be free. But if there was a way for it to be free that doesn't take from somebody else, I think that would be great. But I do think that it would be way cheaper and I guess better and closer to free, and maybe even in some instances free, if there wasn't a healthcare system the way that we have it now. So basically, I feel like it could be effectively free if it wasn't for the system that we have now.
So I guess in a sense, in so many words, you're saying that if they just kind of privatize it more, then that leads to more competition, which then will drive prices down. Kind of like what we're seeing right now with all these cell phone companies and all these new crazy plans that are coming out for like $10.
Right. Basically, yeah. So you privatize it completely, which leads to more innovation and leads to more competition, which drives prices down. And also, I feel like it would lead to more charitable acts, because right now you have it to where the government steals money from you to give to other people. But if that didn't happen, then you could just do it freely of your own free will. And you would probably do that more because you're not thinking, oh, the government's going to do something for these people, so it doesn't have anything to do with me or anything like that. It's like, no, let me, give something to these people. And like one statistic that the right likes to throw out, but I think is valid, is that the right is against all these type of like programs and stuff like that, but they do more charitable giving than the left, who is in favor of taking people's money from taxes and giving it to people. But it's like, you're not taking your own money and giving it to people. You want to do things with other people's money. So it's like, more put your money where your mouth is if you're really about this. Oh shit, that's a rhyme right there. That's a hook.
I mean, well, I think like kind of looking at Cuba though, it kind of makes I think Cuba, well, based on what I hear about Cuba, that it's kind of a perfect example of what can happen when you have free education. Like when I think what Katrina happened or whatever like that, Cuba even offered to have some of their doctors come over or whatever like that to help out, but of course we refused to help in Cuba. But then also you have like this, the situation there where all these people are like mad educated, but they don't have any jobs because everyone they're all highly educated and they all do the same shit.
Yeah, recently I was listening to something, I think on NPR, about Cuban doctors and how basically anytime there's a tragedy in the world, Cuba sends its doctors out because they just have all these great doctors, and they're able to provide more service, and the Cuban doctors don't make as much money as American doctors. So I do think there is a point to that. But I don't know, like the whole, like, I think that when you're in a certain, I think that by like providing systems to things, there is the opportunity to get some things right or to have some things be better. But then when you look at it as a whole, it's like more detrimental. But you do have to give props to Cuba on what they've been able to do in terms of healthcare. But a lot of their people living in poverty. Of course, a lot of that is due to the embargo and all the other type of stuff. But I don't know. Like, when you start to deal with socialism, and I know we've had the conversation about Marxism and what Marxism actually is. So I'm not going to say Marxism, but from socialism into communism. Like, is it really a sustainable system that's natural, I guess?
Well, based on Joe Rogan's ideology, I would say no.
But not to say that, like, I say I'm against free healthcare. Like, I'm against, like, government mandated free healthcare. Of course, I would love for healthcare to be free for everybody, but I don't think that. I think that that's a process that eventually has to happen on its own. I don't think that you can be like, okay, boom, free healthcare.
Yeah.
And like, people talk about, going to Canada and stuff with free healthcare, but I don't know. I think America is known for having like the best like one of the best healthcares. Like, I guess they're known for healthcare innovations when it comes to Western medicine. But it's like that comes from, competition and innovation and things like that. I just think that the way that it's been implemented and the way that healthcare companies are allowed to use the government to their advantage to create certain type of monopolistic type of practices really puts a detriment to the whole system as a whole, or just everybody. But like, I think when it comes to healthcare, especially, like, it really comes to preventing certain things, and a lot of that just comes from your diet.
I think you are one of the you believe in the kinds of people who just don't exactly think properly.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you mean like, hold on, what do you mean by that?
I mean, as in, there's just certain people that, they don't critically think.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess why I am too.
But I mean, I think that, when it comes to like a healthcare system, we also have a food system. So I think that the food system makes it so that the people who don't critically think are more susceptible to certain things that are detrimental, which feeds into the healthcare system. And I think that, you look at conspiracy theorists and they look at the connections between everything and they come up with these, ideas. And, from a logical standpoint, I can see how you come to it. Like, it really looks like the food industry is helping the healthcare industry and vice versa. Like, you have a lot of people making money off of dairy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dairy makes a lot of people sick. I think only 25% of the population or something like that, from something that I read. And I might be completely wrong, but I do think something about only 20% of people or 25% of people are not lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So you keep pushing dairy on people. You got this whole Got Milk campaign. And you create a lobby for the dairy industry that lobbies politicians to create subsidies for this industry to keep growing and propagating, to push dairy on people and to make it seem like it's, completely good and healthy and that you need more in your diet, when 75% of people are lactose intolerant. So for those 75% of people lactose intolerant, what a lot of them do? They go and get a pill that they pay for so they can have this thing. So it's almost like the food industry is feeding the pharmaceutical industry, and a lot of these people, and then that might have side effects to where you got to get another pill for that, and so then you end up with some crazy health condition down the line to where if you just didn't have that in the first place, it wouldn't be an issue. But the reason why it's an issue is because people make money off of it and they're able to lobby the government to put them in a position of power.
I mean, yeah, but like thinking about it now, if there wasn't a Got Milk campaign, people would still be doing the same shit, probably drinking milk, because the whole thing about drinking milk, especially in America, is more of a cultural thing, and it's an agricultural thing. You know, like milk at one point was a really substantial part of someone who's died in the 18th, 19th century.
Yeah, but it's 2015. I mean, we look at how much things are different from that time, but certain things have had a stronghold. And it's like you look at how and like how are those things able to have a stronghold when certain other things aren't? And it's like because these people have the capital to keep pushing their agenda. So like, I mean, you're still gonna have that cultural aspect of it, but at the same time, I do think that there's more to it than that. Because if you're the type of person who doesn't, I'm not even gonna say somebody who lacks critical thinking skills or anything like that. But if you're somebody who just doesn't have the time to look into things, you're gonna look at Got Milk, you're gonna look at whatever it tells you in the commercial, and you're gonna think that that's completely correct. But if that wasn't the case, if there was more competition to where there were other messages that were able to get through and be pushed, then it might be different.
Well, now you have soy milk, but we know that soy milk soy is subsidized, and there's all types of
and it's a
crazy
whole
shit going on with soy.
Yeah, so they do the same. So they wised up and they figured out what the milk people are doing. Like, okay, we gonna do this. But like, at the end of the day, they're still putting their money into this government structure, which is backed by guns. And so they put their money behind the guns that are pushing the message onto the people who either don't think willingly or just don't have the time to think and look up things and stuff like that.
Yeah, and as of now, I'm consuming quite a bit of soy between, having lattes and adding soy sauce to my veggie stir fries.
You gotta get on liquid aminos, man.
I have liquid aminos, but soy milk tastes. Soy sauce it has a different taste to it. I don't mind. Liquid aminos was something I had to get used to. It's cool. I still have some, but I still went ahead and just bought another bottle of soy sauce. I use it in certain things.
I guess my main problem with the soy sauce is the salt. But I use stuff in such moderation and such, so rarely. As opposed to like the average American. Like, did I tell you about I did this free health screening where like they took a blood sample and they tested like my glucose and my cholesterol levels. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, so like they ran my blood through this thing, and so the chick after she got the results, she was like, "Oh, you must be fasting," and I said, "No, I'm not." And said, "Oh, like my glucose level was like at 83, and on the chart it said that a good number if you're fasting is below 100, but if you're not fasting, a good number is like below like 120 or something like that, like 130, something like that." So I said, "No, I'm not fasting," and she was like, "Oh, well, when's the last time you ate?" I said, "About an hour ago." Mind you, like an hour ago, I had like some of the most unhealthy shit that you could think of, which is like I had like a big ass thing of potato wedgies from Royal Farms.
I figured you were going to say that shit for whatever reason.
Yeah, and mind you, I've been slowing down on that because I don't really have access to Royal Farms like that anymore. But that particular day, I was like, let me just grab me some potato wedges from Royal Farms. So like, I was like, yeah, about an hour ago. And she was like, "Oh, well, your glucose levels, it's like, it's really good for someone who's fasting, but you're not fasting, so your body must be processing sugar really well." I was like, oh, well, I'm vegan. And so she was like, oh, well, I mean, even if you're vegan, it's still, this and that and this and that. And he said something about bread and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I've been really cutting down on the bread, especially white bread. I don't really eat white bread and stuff like that. And, I really haven't been doing the pastas as much anymore. So I really don't have a lot of carbohydrates, which are being processed into sugar. And so, she just was like, okay, well, you're good. And she sent me on my way. And I really think, because like the health screening, it was in a Rite Aid and then I guess quote unquote urban area. So I really think that what it was they pretty much figure that people there are going to have some fucked up levels and they're going to be able to push some type of product on them based off of their levels. But mine were kind of good, so they just didn't want to talk to me anymore.
I mean, probably. Like I told you, when I got around, not taking a blood pressure medication because I said I was a black man, and it worked for a good 2 years.
Speaking of that, and I guess this is a plug for this spot. I've been meaning to ask you, what's the cross streets of that herbalist spot again?
Shit, I don't even know offhand.
Damn, because like I was thinking about getting some more of that blood pressure tea, and I'm getting another strainer or some more of them tea bags from Wegmans or whatever. For the people who are up on it, saying he's been going to this herbalist in Baltimore, and he gets his blood pressure tea, and so he gave me some of it before, and like I really like it. It's like these herbs, so I put them in like either like a tea bag or like a strainer, and I make the tea out of it, and it's like a really mellowing, calming effect that it kind of gives to just straight all natural from these various herbs and this blood pressure mix, and I really like it. So,
it was funny. Like since I'm kind of like dealing with whatever's going on from like some type of cold that I don't think that's really left me yet. My mother asked me if I've been taking anything, and I'm like, nah. No, not really. It's like trying to sleep and making like hot toddies. And she was like, you don't have any herbs with you? And of course, you thinking about my mother. That's one of the last things I ever thought she even asked me. I'm like, no, I don't really have any herbs. I just have like some herbal tea, like a little bit of it. And she was like, I never thought I'd see the day when you travel somewhere and you don't have any herbs with you. And then so I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, that's right, man. I gotta get my shit together.
Yeah, man. And I was thinking about the other day. I was like, damn, I haven't had any herbs in a long time.
Yeah, man, the white man's winning right now. But I still do have that theory that I think that we talked about between white man medicine and herbal medicine, and how it's made for different periods.
Yeah, hold on. A disclaimer for everybody listening to the podcast. Like, when you say white man medicine, that can sound very racist to certain people. But, I know what you mean, but the people don't know what you mean.
Alright, well, okay, let's say, how about institutional medicine?
Yeah, like traditional Western American medicine and the medical system that we have, the pharmaceutical companies and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I still think that kind of holds some weight because. If you're taking herbs, man, it's something that you really gotta chill with. You really can't be doing nothing.
Yeah,
to a certain extent, but like.
Yeah, the quote unquote white man medicine, that should get you right back up and back to work.
I mean, yeah, and I mean to be honest, man, like if I gotta be out, I gotta see people, I gotta be out for 8, 9 hours a day, or like at this point right now in this period, I gotta be out the house 7 days a week. So some days I may have to chug, some of that Dayquil real quick because I don't have time to really sleep the way I probably should be or be resting.
Mm.
So it comes in handy. But then if on days when I rest. When I have time to rest, then I just rest and maybe just chill with a hot toddy, man. Like I'm telling you, like hot toddies, I don't know, it must be some type of chemical reaction between the whiskey, the ginger, and certain antioxidants within the tea that makes it a medicinal concoction.
Mm.
Because sometimes like I'll just rest, maybe drink a whole bunch of water or whatever like that, maybe just have like some tea with ginger, or maybe have like a little bit of the institutionalized medicine. But then like when I have like one hot toddy, it'll clear everything out of my chest.
Mm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't really come down with a big sickness as of yet, because usually, this is about, prime opportunity, knock on wood, but recently I've been getting a lot more physical exercise. Like in the past 2 weeks, I walk about 3 miles every day. And then, like, in addition to that, I've pretty much completely cut out soda. Like the last time I had a soda was maybe about a week and a half ago, but the time before that I couldn't tell you. And then I've been drinking about 2 liters of water a day, and like I've been taking vitamin D. They say take 1, but I've been taking 2. Not every day, but pretty much, let's say approximately every other day. And I've been taking this B vitamin complex, and I've been good, man. Like just staying on top of it. Taking the preventative measures that they say to take. And then also I've been eating like a lot of spicy food, and that shit will clear you out. Like when I make like a pot of vegetables or something, I throw a lot of crushed red peppers in there, put some black pepper in there, and just whatever the spiciest things I throw a lot of onions and just all different types of peppers and things like that. And it just clears you right out. And I don't know, I feel like it's the way that my body feels, I feel like it's beneficial. I don't have any research or anything to go behind it, but just from the feeling that I get, I feel like it's definitely helpful, because I'm usually a wreck around this time.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I do think that the exercise component of it is a big part. I mean, they say it's mostly diet, but with the exercise that I've been getting, that increases various endorphins. It just makes you feel better, and when you feel better emotionally, that translates into your physical well-being as well. And in terms of like dealing with like depression and stuff like that, I've been pretty good for a minute, which is very rare for me. But I've been straight. I guess more recently now I've been kind of getting kind of depressed, but at the end of the day, it's not really anything.
Well, I mean that's what's up. I mean, I think for me too, it hasn't been as bad. I guess I faced quite a bit of demons over the summer since I had the time to. But I mean, it's interesting though, because like I mean, I personally I feel that I am an unhealthy person because of this depression. And the reason why I say that is because, like, you know, that the whole thing with when I had to go, I had a checkup, and they could see me having the chest pains, and that led to me getting an echocardiogram, and they were running all these tests on me, and they were just amazed, like, because apparently based on like some type of like the level of pain that they could see, I'm not supposed to be doing the things that I'm doing, or I'm not supposed to be able to be doing them. And then when they figured out that, you know, it was just like just shit going on with me personally, and you know, it's like the third time I've heard it to say, you know, you just need to go and seek help with whatever issues you're dealing with. And so, and then thinking about that and stress, and you know, I'm pretty sure that's the main component to me getting sick all the time. Well, maybe it's not all the time, because the thing is, when I stopped getting flu shots, I really haven't been like sick like that.
I never had a flu shot. But you know, the flu shot makes you sick for a little bit, from what I hear, and like just because of what it is, you know, you're going to get sick, and then you're going to get better. But I mean, the emotional component to it is, and like, you know, depression definitely adds to the sickness and everything like that. I think one thing that's helped me recently is, I think I heard this on a podcast, and I heard it, I've read it other places, but you know, basically stress and anxiety and things like that, the reason why we have them is because it's an evolutionary tool for survival.
Oh, so yeah.
You wouldn't have these things if it wasn't beneficial to you in some type of way. So I think a study came out recently saying that basically, you know, your success is how you pretty much deal with that, you know, those basic, those base emotional things like anxiety and stress. You know, how you're able to translate that into, you know, our modern world. So, and I kind of did it unconsciously today and like the day before, or just more recently, I've been able to do it. So, like, you know, when I feel that feeling, instead of a feeling of dread and woe, it's more like my body is preparing for something. Like, okay, I'm feeling this feeling because I'm amped up and I'm getting ready for something. So it's like I kind of use it as energy instead of using it as something that's knocking me down. And when I first heard somebody talk about that, I was like, yeah, that sounds good, but how is it actually going to work? But then I realized I kind of did it unconsciously. I don't know if it's because of me listening to people talk about it. I was like, oh, like this kind of shit does kind of work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, like you know, like how they say, like, you know, a little bit of stress is good anyway because it helps you get through certain things, or, you know, how depression is linked with, you know, creativity.
Yeah.
But, you know, like because, I mean, you know, I guess like putting my so-called all into a lot of things is kind of a way of me, you know, a way for me to like combat those types of feelings. But then it gets to a point when you're just kind of like masking it, and then you put your all into something that's cool, but then you're still not really dealing with like the underlying meanings, or reasons why you feel this way. And so it's something that you will eventually have to conquer, unless you just want to become a 30-year-old man with all these issues that you just never really face, which I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is to face the issues, because, you know, like you can put your all into something, and, you know, I mean, like how we were talking about yesterday about like escapism. So like you can put your all into something as an escape, but, you know, you can face your issues, but kind of reframe them in a different way that's more productive. You know, so like basically, you know, when you feel a certain type of way, and like, you know, I mean, this is just like a base level of issue, but like, just a basic regular anxiety. Like, I'm about to be late for work, so I feel an anxiety about that. So it's like, instead of, oh no, what am I gonna do? Da, da, da. It's like, okay, I feel this feeling in me. I'm getting ready. I'm ready to go in here and talk to these motherfuckers if they got something to say to me. Cause like, I feel that feeling in me,
Yeah.
And like, that's a very simple, very simplistic example, but, different feelings come up in our lives that we can't control, because we are chemically based, our brains are based on, various chemicals and things that swirl around that is, triggered by various stimuli in our environment and things that are happening to us. And to the degree that certain things are triggered comes from the way that we were brought up. And then our genetic structure as well. But when those things do come up, like they say, it's all how you look at it and how you deal with it. And, of course, the way I'm saying it, it makes it sound very easy. But it's very hard, and it takes practice. And I think that's another thing too. People, like, you can say things and it sounds really easy, but it really takes practice. Like, everything in life takes practice. You have to practice at it until you become good at it. Even these like seemingly esoteric, emotional type of things that we're talking about now, you have to practice at that shit. Like, when you talk about meditation and stuff like that, like, that's a practice. It's not easy. It's just like you practice doing a bench press, you practice shooting a basketball, you gotta practice with your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
and that can be depressing too, cause like, damn, I gotta do more shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's always an ongoing battle with these types of things, and because then after a while, when you're combating it, it's like after a while you just get tired of the shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a way of looking at it, like, instead of combating it, look at it as a benefit, maybe. Like,
but like, there are certain schools of thought that say that, like, kind of like seeing it that way will kind of have you just accept it, but apparently it's something that you don't have to accept and that you can get over.
I mean, I think that, I think to get over certain things, like, certain things are so deep that to get over them, you just have to change who you are as a like, certain things you really just have to really be a monk and meditate for like years to get over. And it's like, do you want to do that, or do you just want to accept it and deal with it as it comes up and try to use it as a benefit? Like, why not accept things? Like, it's like when you look at it as a game, right? And like, I was explaining this earlier, like, how people, like, let's say, like, you're selling drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you are involved in this type of lifestyle, that certain things come with it. So like, you might get locked up and go to jail. So by entering into this type of thing, you kind of already, you have to accept that you're going to get locked up at some point. And so you have to have certain things to deal with it, which is like saving up and having a stash of bail money so somebody can bail your ass out. or like certain things that you do because you accept the reality of the situation that you're in the game that you're in. Even though this might be something that you chose, but now you're in it. So it's like, you know, certain realities come up in it. And it's like you can try to do what you want to do to try to run from it, but it's still going to be there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, sometimes you just got to accept it and just deal with it. Like, the effort that it takes to get over it, is it really worth it? Like, is it going to be worth your time or energy to try to get over it? Or is it going to be more beneficial to try to just accept that this is what it is, and maybe if it comes up, try to use it to your benefit in any possible way if it's possible?
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if that's like a Buddhist perspective on it or whatever, but it's just like, you know, like, you can't be too attached to certain shit. Like, you just have to experience it and just as it comes and just do what you do. You know, I don't know. I guess I guess I'm just in a better mood. I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, I did get a new job in, you know, the past. I guess I've been there for over 2 months now, and it is kind of depressing me. But at the same time, we do have this podcast, and you know, we're doing historic things with this podcast so far, which is kind of a plus. You know, then I have, you know, other projects that I'm working on, so maybe that's my form of escapism, I guess. But
I mean, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, like, you know, when we talked about this whole thing about escapism the other day, I see what you're saying, but I think in my case, it's still a bit different. So I don't know. It's something I really gotta think about, I guess, a bit more deeply. But
I mean, is escapism bad?
I mean, I would say in my case, it can become bad, and I think, and I would argue that to a certain extent, it probably kind of I guess hindered me socially in a way.
I mean, this goes to what we were talking about the other day. Well, you know, yesterday is like, would you? Well, I guess. Well, I didn't really say this, but you know, would you be where you are now and doing the things that you're doing now without escapism?
That's the thing. No.
So, and it's like, are those? And I guess it goes into how, you know, we're talking about regular people things. So like, you know, the social life, or the, you know, the socialism, or not socialism, but you know what you're talking about in terms of, you know, being hindered socially. You know, to be an extraordinary person, you can't deal with that type of thing. So like, you know, how like yesterday I was telling you about how like people talk about Steve Jobs and how like he was like an asshole and all sorts of type of stuff. But like, look at what he did and the legacy that he left on the world. Or like, you look at Michael Jordan, like, nigga, was Michael Jordan. I'm sure he was hindered very socially. You know. So it's like, it's kind of a trade-off, you know. you lose one thing, but you gain something else. And I guess it's which one do you value more? Because, like, and in some ways I look at it as taking the red pill, you know, from a matrix perspective, because, you know, you're not doing regular people shit. You know, regular people are doing, like, having regular people conversations about whatever the fuck's TV show. And it's not even that TV, like they have a list of TV shows and they have it scheduled. Like when I'm at work, I can overhear people's conversations. Today is this TV show and this TV show day. Tomorrow is this TV show and this TV show day. And it's scheduled. So where people like us, it's like, our schedule is like, okay, we're talking to Schoolie D on this day. We're talking to Mateo on this day. We're talking to, you know, Brace Saga on this day. We're talking to Gemstones on this day. We're talking to fucking Chill Moody, the musical ambassador of Philadelphia. We're talking to all these different types of people. Then we're recording it and putting it up on our own shit for people to hear.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, to be hindered socially is to not be able to relate to regular shit. And it's kind of a hindrance because certain regular shit you need to live.
Yeah.
But sometimes I might forego some shit that I need to live because I got so much other shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, but then even going back to the conversation yesterday, you know, you brought up good points about, you know, Steve Jobs and Michael Jordan, but then, you know, I told you about, you know, Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
And, you know, after a while, because like even if you look at like the Epic of Gilgamesh and the whole thing about living forever, and the whole thing is that, you know, just being remembered, but you know, if you base it on, you know, if you don't believe in the afterlife, then why the fuck would you care if people remember you after you die? Because you're not going to be conscious to know it.
That's a good point. And the only answer that I have for that is that you give a fuck because you give a fuck. And that's because you're here. And this is what you know. And you have to find some purpose in life. You know, like you have to have something that drives you. So, like, if that purpose is an afterlife, then you might fuck around and be a Jehovah's Witness. Or you could not believe in that shit and create a purpose and just be great. And, you know, I was telling my girl this the other day, like, you know, like the Art of Manliness blog that we've spoken about previously.
Yeah, I still gotta look at that link you sent me.
I don't even remember which link I sent you.
The shoe guide to manliness.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking about something from there that I saw like a long time ago, which is basically as a man, you make your manifesto, and you know, manifesto has a negative connotation. You know, like usually it's like some type of serial killer or a mass shooter or Hitler who has a manifesto. But
yeah,
manifesto is really just principles that you live by. So like, as a person, you know, write down the principles that you live by. And I was really going somewhere with this, but I kind of lost my train of thought.
I remember that article too, actually. And I mean, see, and this is when I guess this is where we kind of go into the realm of existentialism, and that, like, I've heard that I could be going through existential depression, and that I'm depressed because I believe there's no meaning to life, and so I'm kind of just aimlessly walking around trying to figure out a meaning, or just just kind of void of any kind of really feeling or meaning of anything, because I don't believe in any kind of meaning to life.
I mean, I think I went through that at some point. I guess my conclusion is that I don't know, to me there's a freedom in not having a meaning to life. Like, that's the most, because it's a blank canvas. Like, you can create your own fucking meaning and do it, and just do what you do. Like, to me that's just like free. Like, there's so many people whose meaning for life is already ingrained in their fucking brain, and their meaning for life is like Jesus or Allah, and they don't get to live full, complete lives because they're living for an afterlife that they don't even know if it fucking exists or not. But my meaning for life, and oh yeah, this is where I was going, what I was saying before. I figured out my meaning for life, and it's based on two principles which can be broken down, but the overarching principles are to be great and to have fun, and that's it. So that's my meaning for life, is to be great and have fun. Now, to have fun, I'm gonna start with that one. That's the more simple part of it. To have fun is just to fucking have fun. I mean, who doesn't want to have fun? Why the fuck not have fun? Right? That's a great means of life. But to be great, one is to be excellent in the things that I do. It's to make a mark on humanity, and whoever I touch, or whoever I meet, I want to make a mark on them. Like, it's to be great at this podcast, is to be great at fucking rapping, producing, just to be like just great in general, and then great in my interactions with people. Like, to be a great friend, to be a great family member, to be a great spouse, to be just a good person. And then you can break that down further into what constitutes that. But whatever conclusions I come to into what become I guess whatever conclusions I come to into the different elements that become to being great, I just want to be great. Like, why not be the best me that I can be at all times, and continue to grow and develop myself, like to attain more knowledge and things like that. Like, I think greatness kind of encompasses a lot of things, but overall, I just want to just be great and have fun. And so that kind of gives me a compass now. So now that I figured that out, I know that if I'm not being great or having fun in whatever I'm doing, I don't need to do that shit no more. If I'm talking to you, if I'm not having a great conversation, if I'm not having fun talking to you, I don't need to speak to you anymore. And so it makes things very simple.
I mean, it's I think one element to I guess the way I feel is the fact that I feel like in this period right now, my shit is just like in a state of flux. I just feel like nothing is organized, or everything is just. I feel like shit is just not in place.
Uh,
And
I was gonna say, have you ever had a time when you felt like things were in place?
Have I mean, no, not really.
So it's a problem. I mean, yo, like think about all the great, amazing things that you're doing right now. So clearly, if if you felt like things were in place, I think that's when you have your problem. And that comes to all how you look at things. Like, it's not supposed to be in place for you. From my perspective, I can't speak on, you in particular, but, from my perspective, looking at you, if you felt like things were in place, that's when you need to be worried.
So I guess, and I guess then I gotta define what in place really means.
In place means, to me, boring and not fun. I had a homegirl, right? Her name was Michelle, and she used to talk to me about like all this crazy stuff that used to happen, and like she'd be very upset all the time. And I just tell her, like, your life is exciting. Like, don't be mad about that. It's all gonna be good. It's not life. I mean, really, when you look at it, these situations are life and death. Like, you good, and you like at least. Matter of fact, this is what I tell. I said, at least you're not bored.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how I've been trying to combat this. Is that I've never been bored.
Yeah, there's no reason to ever be bored. I think when you become bored, that's when you become those type of people that talk about other people, and like you start to get into these like weird social interactions with people, and you get into non-productive conversations, and you just stop advancing when you become bored. And it's like, for people that are bored, because I do feel like for me, from an early age, I've always had the music thing in me, so I can never be bored. But some people don't have something to find, and it's like, just think of something that you're interested in and move in towards that direction. Like, just go somewhere, and just go somewhere by yourself where you don't know anybody. Go there and go there a couple times, and somebody's going to start talking to you. You're going to start talking to somebody, and then you won't be bored anymore.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess. Well, I'm pretty sure that one element of these feelings too is just me constantly overthinking things. But I think also the thing about things being in place is, I guess, like a certain kind of security.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, I guess one main element would be financial security. That shit gets played out after a while.
Yeah.
So I guess that's one thing but then it just sounds really materialistic. And is this like really just because I don't have any money? And then I say certain things about I just don't feel like I'm in the position I need to be in right now. But then people will say, well, you're so young, so what are you talking about? There are people who are younger than who are older than you, who have never even reached your potential, or some shit like that. And I'm like, well, that's them. That's not me.
Yeah, I mean, like, did you have a vision for yourself at the age that you are now?
Yeah.
And have you reached that vision?
No.
And how realistic was that vision? Honestly.
I mean, it was pretty realistic. I think. I mean, now we can go into this. I mean, this vision a bit. Like I think looking back on it though now, it may have happened for maybe it may have been for the best, in that I would have been too young, and who would have known what would have happened to me if I would have been in that position at the age that I wanted to be in that situation in.
Right.
So yeah, there's always that. I could have just been I could be a strung out cold kid or some shit, more unhappy than what I'm feeling right now. Very true.
And then too, when it comes to happiness, it's like I think that we're the type of people that will never be happy. Like, so the only thing that you can be is content. And not content in the form of accepting things that you're not unhappy with, but content to the point where the things that you're not happy with doesn't fuck you up that bad, if that makes any sense. Like, you're just content to where you're good no matter what the fuck is going on. Because it can be because of whatever reason, but you just you can deal with things in a certain type of way to where a negative thing can't impact your overall unhappiness, because you're already to a certain level of unhappiness. So it's like, okay, I'm used to this shit already, or I guess to detach yourself emotionally from unhappiness, if that makes any sense. Which unhappiness is an emotion. But if you can detach yourself emotionally from an emotion, then you can be content. So you're still striving for happiness, but at the same time, the unhappiness doesn't hit you like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd be more content if certain things come through.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's the thing, because I think like the thing with me is that certain things kind of have to be. I had to know what's coming next. I'm not like I've never been like the type of person. Well, I've never pictured myself as the type of person who's always kind of like want to go, in a way.
Really?
But yeah, but I've ended up. Yeah, but this is what I mean. Not, how can I put it? I mean, I don't mean like tied down to a house or something like that, but like not constantly moving to different states every 5 minutes and shit, I guess. So
that's crazy, because like I always envision myself as that person. And like I was that person. And I'm not gonna lie, I was more happy then. But now it's like, it's more of a I did that shit before, and I know that I can do that shit again. But in the meantime, when I'm in this state of, I call it purgatory, I can explore the realm that I'm at to a depth that I probably wouldn't have been able to had I been on another level and not doing the other shit. So it's basically like finding, the benefit in this, because like I think with everything that you do, like when I was on the go a lot, I appreciated being here a lot more. It was like, damn, I'm back. Like, this is cool. I'm home. Everything is good. Now that I'm here, it's like, damn, I missed that other shit. Like, so it's like, it's a constant state of not being happy with your situation, but at the same time, finding a contentment in it to where you can exist and find something valuable out of it, I guess.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, because like, and that's the thing, because I got kind of so used to not being back for a long period of time. When I was back for like that year, it was like, all right, I don't know where, and I don't know where I would really go, but it kind of feels something's not right. I think I've been here too long.
And then too, like, when you went to New York and then you came back, and then the I guess, did you get like kind of a shock, like, oh, this is what it really is, but I didn't really realize it?
You mean like how Baltimore really is?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. In a sense, I did. But even like right now, like for real, like I remember at one point I said, I wanted to live in New York for like a period of time. Looking back on it now, I don't want to live in New York. I have no interest. It's I think it's too much going on for me. And who knows? I guess that's another thing too. Like if I was in New York right now, who knows what the fuck I'd be doing? So that's another thing I always gotta think about too when it comes to me not really getting my way and going to New York to live.
I mean, I think Oklahoma was part of your destiny, because not to say that I believe in destiny and things like that, but like before you went to Oklahoma, we had so many conversations about Oklahoma and like why you needed to be there and how you would have to go there at some point, even if you were all these other places. But it just so happens that you just have to live in Oklahoma. Like that's just a weird synchronicity of coincidence. Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I wouldn't be trying to essentially stay here for another 3 years if I didn't kind of feel that way. But I don't know. But I guess I'm always thinking ahead, so it's like, damn. So like now.
I mean, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the way I look at things is, the future is something that doesn't exist and never will exist. It's just a vision that you have. The past is something that doesn't exist and never will exist. It's not even a memory. You know what a memory is? It's a fantasy that's based off of your senses at the time. The only thing that really exists is the now. So it's like The only thing that you can do is what you can do at the current moment. And all you're doing is being in one moment and moving through it. And nothing else exists before or after it.
That sounds even more depressing. Shit. Space and time are one and the same thing.
I mean,
you know, the reptilians, the black reptilians already knew this.
I mean, you know, I mean, but it's crazy, like, I don't, at least to me, it's crazy how, like, the thing that bugged me out is when I learned that time exists differently when you get further from the Earth's gravity. So, like, the satellites that we fucking use, like, satellite TV and internet and cell phones off of, they have to speed their time up because time moves faster. And somebody had to actually calculate that shit. And it just shows that our little brains that live in the three-dimensional world that have evolved for this particular environment called the planet Earth have, you know, such a very limited concept of what actually is. And then when you think about it, you know, the things that you see, like what is vision? Like from your eyes, all it is light reflecting off of something. So certain speed, so you're never actually seeing anything as it is. You have to wait for light to get to your eye to actually see what happened before. So really, you you can't see or hear anything that ever happens.
And see, you know, this is the craziest thing about this, like this type of shit, is that you always hear about, you know, this tortured artist who, you know, who kills himself. But you don't really hear too much about scientists killing themselves after they just know these types of things. Apparently, they can just bob around and be fine with this shit.
I mean, because I think with science is science is really just a mind state of there's always more to know and explore. So if something that you believed in got shattered, it's cool because you found out what the real truth is, or at least a part of it. And you're like, oh shit, what else is out there? Or like, you know, what's next? I guess how you're saying, like what's next, but you're looking at it more of from a scientific view of a point of excitement versus dread, woe, and fear of the unknown.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, you know, we never see anything as, like, you know, the sun, like, and this is one thing I always say, you know, in the daytime we're walking around, the sun might not be there anymore. We don't know because it takes light 8 minutes to get from the sun to the earth. So the sun might have just disappeared 8 minutes before, and our world might be ending, but we don't know for 8 minutes. Like, we don't know what the fuck is going on. Like the sun could have exploded. We don't know. We have an 8-minute window before all hell breaks loose at all times.
I'm surprised it hasn't been like a movie about that. Like, sun explodes and you have 8 minutes. Like, what do you do? Like, one person like knows.
I mean, that would be it would have to probably be like a short artsy type of film. But like, that would be crazy.
I mean, well, wait. I mean, yeah, but I guess if you want, if it would be like a full length film, it would probably have to be like how, like, I guess how the person finds out that the sun exploded.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, going back, like it would probably have to tell the story kind of backwards in a bit.
Yeah. Man, okay. Now we should be on Star Talk right now.
I know, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson, what up? Man, like, but I don't know. All that science stuff really interests me. It's crazy. We haven't talked about hip hop at all this whole episode.
Yeah, man. It's just been about the art of melancholy.
Yeah, I mean, is hip hop really that boring right now?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like everything kind of came to a head with Drake and Meek Mill, and then Dr. Dre kind of made a little splash and kind of disappeared. No one cared no more.
Yeah, and then now you got Games album, which I'm enjoying. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm enjoying every song off of the double disc, because I mean, he has a documentary 2.5, and I'm enjoying a lot of songs from it, I will say. I'm trying to think of anything else, but now you got Wale versus Meek Mill, and it's just a mess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Kendrick has to come out with another album.
That's not gonna happen probably for another 2-3 years. I mean, maybe J. Cole might drop something, but when the artist is doing like if an artist is if an artist's album is doing well, then like what's the point in them putting out another one?
Artistic innovation.
Yeah, that shit don't matter.
At least not anymore.
I mean, cause like, but then too, if you put out something that's so dope that it's like lasting that long, then you might have to just chill for a minute, and like it might take you that long to create something. Cause like you look at the gap between Kendrick's albums, like that's a pretty substantial gap. Even with like J. Cole, like he seems to have some gaps in his shit as well. But his music really hits people.
I don't know. They're probably waiting for some big thing to happen to black people before they reemerge anyway.
Oh man. I mean, and like now with the Drake and Future, people are like, okay, what's going on with this J. Cole and Kendrick album? I mean, it's kind of weird. Like that's gonna shut the internet down for like a day or two, if it ever comes to fruition.
Shit, man, you just reminded me about that Drake and Future. Is it an album or a mixtape?
I mean, it's a project. It's a sale.
I forgot all about that. Actually, I haven't heard one song, or I have heard one song.
What? Do you remember what song you heard?
I don't even know, man. I just know the shit was whack.
I mean, like I said before, that Drake and Future project, like, it's not as good as either one of their previous projects.
But they're two different people though. I just can't really see them doing an entire album together.
I guess they just like each other and feel each other's vibe. On some no homo type shit.
I mean, just imagine if Drake and Meek Mill did an album together and all the songs sounded like Rico.
That'd probably be dope.
I don't know. I don't like Rico.
I mean, it would be better than Drake and Future's album. I think.
I don't know. I gotta actually listen to it, man. But you can see, I just caught up and listened to Dr. Dre's album. So
yeah, I think I'm trying to think of what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to whatever Fabulous is doing next, because he's been killing it for a long time on the low, like with the soul tapes. I mean, he started with like the Gangsta Grills joints. Then he went to the soul tapes, and then he had that album that came out that was kind of cool, the Young OG Project. A lot of he had a couple bangers on there, and then it'll be real interesting to see what he does next.
I mean, the only thing that I was like really interested like in hearing is like the MF Doom and Ghostface, but after listening to whatever song that came out with them on, I think one of the Adult Swim compilations, it just was. I mean, the beat was hard, but Ghostface he is not Ghostface anymore, and he just doesn't sound right. So it just kind of kills the whole allure. So the only thing I really got to really look forward to is like another MF Doom album if that's ever coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I've realized that because I'm not too excited about things coming out, that I just need to just go back to old shit that I never really listened to. So that'd be a lot of MF Doom. Going back and listen to them Master Ace albums I never listened to. Those are dope.
Oh yeah.
And OC, he got some new shit. And I think he had an album called Star Child or something like that I really liked. But I need to go back and listen to some OC and just some of these 90s artists that are kind of, I guess you would classify them as obscure.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Jamal's. Well, I've always listened to it, but I was listening to Jamal's album the other day.
How do you listen to music? Like, do you listen to it in the background while you're doing other shit, or like how does that work for you?
I mean, I usually listen to it while I'm walking everywhere, so that's why the main way I get music. But I mean, if I'm listening to something new, then I sit down with it, or I like have it on when I'm like washing dishes or something. But like music with like words, it's kind of hard for me like to sit down like listen to while I'm doing work.
I know what you mean, because like me, if it's rap, I'm trying to catch the lyrics and everything they're saying, and so I miss some of it if I'm doing something else. So I really gotta focus on like that album, especially if it's like like a real lyrical type of dude. But it's hard, especially like juggling real life for me, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I'm trying to check up on that. So like I listen to it while I'm walking and on the train and stuff like that, but it's like it's too much information and not enough time to get into my brain, because I'm trying to read some shit too. So it's like there's too much going on.
I mean, yeah. I'm even to the point now that sometimes I just walk with like a podcast on.
Oh yeah, I've been doing that. Like
it's kind of nice.
Yeah, and it's a way to catch up on things. So, I missed the Democratic national debate or whatever, but one of the podcasts I listened to, shout out to Mandatory Sampson. They went in depth on it with clips and everything. And then another podcast I listened to with Dave Smith, who's a comedian, Part of the Problem. That's a more libertarian leaning podcast. Well, not libertarian leaning, it's straight libertarian podcast. He played some clips and everything like that, which was kind of interesting. It's interesting to see, Mayor O'Malley. He's up in there debating so that he can be president.
He gets no airplay.
Nah, not a whole lot. And then like somebody made the comment, I think it was Dave Smith on the part of the problem. It was like, you want us to vote for you as president, but you were the mayor of Baltimore, and that's one of the things that you tout. But look at what the fuck Baltimore looks like right now.
He still didn't get his shit off the ground anyway. He's been trying to for the longest time, but he just can't do it, and it's because he sounds like a robot for the Democratic Party.
That's what everybody says about him too. Like, it's funny, if Hillary wasn't there, maybe he would have a shot, but he doesn't. So you might as well just bow out. You know what? I realize that a lot of these people, if they're not going to make it, at least they're vying for vice presidency spot. So maybe, and like Hillary, like kind of shut him down in a debate. He was like, she was like, you know, I really thank O'Malley for supporting me in my presidential run in 2008.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard that. Yeah, because at one point they did some coverage on that. Yeah, that shit was kind of fucked up.
And then there's some other random ass Democrat. He was a governor of some state. I forget his name. But it's funny because Dave Smith from Part of the Problem podcast, he was like, you know, I'm really into politics, but I've never heard of this guy. And he was like they asked him about his vote on some shit, like the war in Iraq or some shit. And he was like, well, I was new and my father just died, and you know the vote was 95-2 anyway. So like his response was just crazy. Like it was just so many excuses. Like it was like high schoolish type excuses.
Mm.
And it was kind of funny. Like they're not looking for you. That like ain't nobody checking for you, bro. Chill that shit out.
Wow.
Let's take a break real quick, and then we'll come back. So, channel10podcast.com, log on, cop the merchandise, listen to the episodes, tell a friend, We'll be back in a second. Peace.
Son. You feel it, man. Roll up, son. You gotta just do it, yo. Yo, roll up, man. It's a different channel, son. Roll up, on, man. Roll up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Roll up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Roll up, yo. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, it's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cats more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cats more beef.